Hey, what's up, YouTube family? We're gonna try this one more time. It's your favorite black guy from Nebraska. Yes, there's black people here in Nebraska. I want to read you a chapter out of one of my favorite books called The FBI War Against Tupac Shakur and Black Leaders. In this book, it is not only about Tupac Shakur, it is also about movements that are headed by black people that get stopped or get infiltrated by government agencies or government entities. And in this book, there's a chapter called Police and Federal Agents Target Black and Latino Police Groups, Activists, and Leaders. That goes to show you, even if you're a part of them, you're not safe. Even if you're a part of these organizations, you're not safe. Okay? Definitely if you're somebody who is melanated, you're not safe. You will get spied upon because they want to make sure that you are aligned to what they got going on and then you're not going off script. So let's go ahead and get into this chapter. It's a lot of good information inside of this that you can apply to other situations as well, and it'll be able to allow you to see things for what they truly are. Attacks on Black and Latino groups of color that pose the threat of effective social activism continue, even against such groups within the New York Police Department. In 1997, officials from 100 Blacks in Law Enforcement Who Care and the Latino Officers Association, the two main police officer organizations representing Black police officers and Latino officers, said that the NYPD was illegally spying on them. NYPD superiors denied the accusation, but the Black and Latino police groups presented reports, evidence that included a photo of a political gathering where undercover police officers were caught on film outside the Latino police group's location. So these people were politicizing themselves inside the NYPD. And the NYPD would say, hey, you know what? We need to figure out what you guys are doing because we don't want you guys doing anything that goes against what our core values are. So let's go ahead and continue. NYPD Deputy Chief Raymond King, who headed the Internal Affairs Bureau, also contradicted the earlier NYPD denial of such spying. In court, King stated surveillances were conducted, phone records were obtained, and 2 years of secret probes against 100 Blacks and its leader, Lieutenant Eric Adams. This included illegally obtaining their personal phone records from Verizon. An Internal Affairs Bureau member told Eric Adams that someone had planted a secret camera in his office and taped his private phone conversations. 100 Blacks in law enforcement filed a federal lawsuit against both New York City and Verizon. Furthermore, Yvette Walton, a member of both the 100 Blacks and the Street Crime Unit, unanimously testified in 2000 for the family of Amadou Diallo after the Street Crime Unit fired 41 bullets at him. Wow, 41 bullets at one single individual. The police then fired her, but she filed and won a civil lawsuit against the NYPD. The NYPD targeting continued. In 2006, the 22-year NYPD veteran Adams, who had gained a promotion to captain, faced departmental charges for criticizing the city on a television news program. Adams said that the NYPD delayed a terrorism alert for 4 days in order to distract the public from Mayor Bloomberg's failure to appear at a candidates debate in Harlem. Adams, scheduled to retire within a month of the department charges, risked losing his pension if the department charges resulted in a dismissal. A judge only found him guilty of one charge and docked him 15 days vacation. So they pretty much slapped him on the hand like, look, you keep on doing what you're doing, we can go further, we can take this further. The NYPD continued its attack on activist groups, such as the Black Panther and Black Liberation Movement inspired Zulu Nation. The New York Times reported on how the hip-hop activist group Zulu Nation had chapters worldwide, including Germany, Switzerland, and Japan, that extended to 10,000 members in 20 countries by the year of 2000. That's what a lot of these activist groups, that's what the police and these government agencies are scared of. They're scared that your message is going to get out and it's going to politicize other people in other places and make other chapters. That's what they're really scared of. In 2002, despite having no evidence of any illegal activities, the New York Police Department declared that Zulu Nation was a gang. The NYPD kept Zulu Nation under surveillance and then arrested 34 of its members for tutoring students in Staten Island Park. These people were doing the right thing, tutoring, something positive, and they got arrested because the NYPD stated that the Zulu Nation was a gang. Even though they were doing something positive, doesn't matter. You're not a part of what they're a part of, so you are an enemy. Police declared it illegal for over 20 to gather in a public park, either an uncertain or arcane political unlawful assembly charge. More ominously, a gunman fatally shot a Hunter College sophomore who was volunteering at Pacifica's WBAI Radio, a leftist radio station, just as he walked out of a Zulu Nation meeting. Interesting. A mere sampling of other attacks on black leaders and activists further support the continuation of U.S. intelligence targeting at the end of the 90s. Powerful institutions in Atlanta attacked Ralph Abernathy Jr., the son of Martin Luther King's closest associate in the civil rights movement. These forces helped get Abernathy out of his Atlanta leadership position in the Georgia State Senate after serving 3 terms. In 2000, a court convicted Abernathy of a scheme in which he milked the state out of $5,700 by filing false expense reports. For this, he received 4 years in jail and 6 years probation. This appears a small change in the setup. For example, Vice President Cheney still has stock options in the company that couldn't account for over $1 billion of contract money he helped get them in Iraq. In 2002, conservative media attacked black leader Reverend Al Sharpton. HBO played a 1983 tape of an FBI agent posing as drug trafficker, promising to get kilos of coke for Sharpton. While the tape never showed Sharpton accepting the offer, the New York Times suggested that he had. Sharpton said that the HBO aired the tape just as he was exploring a presidential run to dissuade him from running and voicing left-wing views in televised presidential debates. In 2003, prosecutors in Atlanta, Georgia area revisited a 30-year-old charge regarding the murder of a Georgia police officer that wasn't thought to have had enough merit in the 70s. They charged Kwame Sadiki, formerly Freddie Hilton, with murder. Sadiki had worked with Tupac's aunt, Assata Shakur, in the New York Black Panthers. He also fathered a girl with Assata. Sadiki rejected government attempts to have him lure Assata back from her political exile status in Cuba. 2 years later, New Jersey offered a $1 million bounty for Assata Shakur's capture, after a court had convicted her there of shooting a police officer despite strong evidence to this contrary. At the Atlanta trial, revisiting the drop charge against Kamu Sadiki in the anti-Muslim climate of the post-9/11 World Trade Center attack, a judge sentenced Sadiki to life plus 10 years. A writer for the daily Atlanta Journal-Constitution also insinuated that Sadiki killed police for no reason. That's where false journalism comes into play. The writer said that Sadiki shot the cop at random as he sat in his car at a gas station. A second example of a 2003 attack on a black leader took place in the city council chambers of New York City Hall. Othniel Askew reportedly shot 7 bullets into a black police officer turned New York City councilman, James Davis, in the City Hall chamber balcony. Prominent black activist Alton Maddox, unfairly discredited for the Tawana Brawley case, claimed police intelligence assassinated Davis. He said their motive was to stop Davis' unifying liberal agenda in opposing to reactionary legislation by Republican Mayor Michael Bloomberg and the council speaker. Maddox didn't necessarily say they ordered it, only that Davis threatened the buildup of the huge New York spy operation. This reactionary agenda likely included intelligence director David Cohen's spy operations. Geoffrey Davis also said, "The system killed my brother, but we're going to keep fighting." Reports suggest that politicians, police, and reporters attempted to cover up evidence that the murder of Councilman James Davis was an intelligence operation. It was also the first ever shooting in City Hall. The final, widely accepted report on the murder said that Othniel Askew, wearing a light-colored suit, shot Davis while with him in the chamber balcony, and that a white undercover cop standing 45 feet away down on the chamber floor fatally shot Askew 4 times seconds later. This was contradicted by many initial reports. First, a newspaper article quoted the police commissioner as saying somebody in the balcony pulled a gun and shot 2 people. Another reporter cited a witness saying 2 people sat with Davis in the balcony, suggesting that the second person fired all the shots, killed Askew after he killed Davis, or at least was never asked what happened. Mayor Bloomberg reportedly said the killer was still at large wearing a dark blue suit, and the city stopped all transit to shut down escape routes for the gunman 2 hours later. Other factors also suggest U.S. intelligence foul play. The FBI said Othniel Askew called them hours before the murder, claiming that James Davis threatened, coerced, and bribed Askew not to run against him for office. Askew had moved to New York 2 years prior, had never run for any office, and failed to get enough signatures to run in the recently held election. Thus, the FBI have been able to know Askew had made a false claim by simply calling the Board of Elections or the Democratic Party office. Askew's alleged action of calling the FBI, his reported claim about Davis, and the FBI's reporting of it as a valid claim are all bizarre aspects of this incident that only a U.S. intelligence orchestrated media campaign could pass off unscrutinized. Nevertheless, police tried to bolster the FBI's claim, and newspapers repeated it nationwide. Police said they found an unsigned positive letter Davis wrote to Askew in his pocket that allegedly supported the FBI stated Askew claims. The ultra-conservative New York Post stretched the allegation further to say it was a grant Askew got for Davis. Davis staffers said Davis didn't write the letter and nothing else substantiated the alleged Askew claims. Several more odd aspects of this story further suggest U.S. intelligence work. Othniel Askew had finished a tour in the Air Force in the summer of 2001 and had a previous arrest for a violent physical assault. Also, the weapon that killed Davis was a Kahr MK-40, invented in 1995 and approved for NYPD undercover work. Signs of a U.S. intelligence targeting incidents continued into 2004. During a mayoral election, the FBI placed listening devices in the office of a black Philadelphia mayor, John F. Street, a Democrat. They also bugged the office of a street supporter, top Philadelphia Muslim leader Shamsuddin Ali. Mayor Street signed a bill that made Philadelphia one of the first cities in the United States to demand reparations from banks that had benefited from slavery. Revolutionary Action Movement founder Muhammad Ahmad Maxwell Stanford Jr. taught at Temple University and organized with the National Coalition of Blacks for Reparations. And that's called NCOBRA. Led the cause that influenced Philadelphia's City Council ordinance, which Street signed. Other targeting involved the presidential elections. NAACP leader Kwasi Mfum sat on the board of Hip Hop Summit Action Network. His NAACP co-leader Julian Bond criticized George Bush's policies and his refusal to meet with the group, the country's oldest black improvement organization. The IRS quickly launched an investigation into whether Bond's critique should exempt the NAACP from its nonprofit status, which bars lobbying. The IRS had previously acted on behalf of U.S. intelligence during the Vietnam War when it conducted illegal searches on Huey Newton's home while focusing on the Black Panther Party, in addition to aiding U.S. intelligence spying on other leftist groups similarly registered as legitimate political organizations. That same year, suspicious attacks on different kinds of black leadership came to light. The Washington Post magazine covered various machinations used by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, USDA, to destroy thousands of black farmers' livelihoods. In the summer of 2004, the Environmental Working Group said the USDA spent $12 million on legal fees to thwart the transfer of $2 billion in settlement money awarded to thousands of black farmers. In 1999, for USDA discrimination from 86 to 96, the National Black Farmers Association leadership filed another suit in 2004, claiming that racist discrimination by the USDA against black farmers continued. The black farmers' leadership also experienced violent attacks. For example, the National Black Farmers Vice President, Rick Haney, experienced a long history of discrimination that included violent threats before the end of the 90s. He said that in 1981, he was suddenly refused loans after a white USDA supervisor took over the position of a black USDA supervisor working with Haney, who had approved them. Haney had accumulated over 2,000 acres of farmland by that time. Soon after, Haney found bullet holes in his farm equipment and mysterious fires burning down thousands of dollars in livestock and equipment. Banks then charged Haney exorbitant interest rates and delayed his commercial loans, decimating much of his holdings well into the 90s. Nothing changed until a USDA agent was suspended for threatening Haney with a gun in 1998. By 2005, conservative government officials again decided to retry old cases against Black Panthers. They formed a grand jury that ended up charging 8 men for a 1971 killing of a San Francisco police officer, along with conspiracy charges that encompassed many other acts between 1968 and 73. Similar charges had been thrown out in 1975 due to the fact that evidence used to indict them in 1971 had been extracted through torture. While the government had kept 2 of the men incarcerated as political prisoners for the past 30 years, the other 6 had lived regular lives, working and raising families. 7 of the men lived in several states, and 1 lived abroad in 2005. As of July 2007, all 8 of the men, Herman Bell, Ray Boudreaux, Richard Brown, Henry Jones, Jalil Montkim, Anthony Bottom, Richard O'Neill, Harold Taylor, and Francisco Torres were in jail, each with a bail of $3 million. In 2005, the government also dealt another blow to gang peace truce leaders. California authorities had long-time death row inmate Stanley Tookie Williams executed. Williams had found the Crips gang in the early 70s. Some historians claim that the Crips started as revolutionary activists before getting involved in violence and murders. Nonetheless, Williams changed after his imprisonment in the early 80s. Williams has several children's books that try to teach peace and it helped organize the peace truces between the Bloods and the Crips. Williams was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. Celebrities such as Snoop Dogg, Bianca Jagger, Reverend Jesse Jackson, Judge Greg Mathis, Daz Dillinger, and Jamie Foxx tried to gain a stay of his execution. Foxx played the part of Williams in the televised movie Redemption, the Stan Tookie Williams story. The government executed Williams by the end of 2005. Also in 2005 and 2006, the FBI led a large attack on Puerto Rican independence movement. The movement's recent success included a push for the U.S. Navy to stop testing bombs on the Puerto Rican island of Vieques. And more threat time targeting, the FBI led attacks on September 23, 2005, the anniversary of the day Puerto Rico declared its independence from Spain. Harvard-educated attorney and radio host Juan Manuel Garcia Palascua said that 200 agents surrounded the home of a 72-year-old Puerto Rican independence activist, Filiberto Ajeda Rios. In 1983, the FBI claimed Ajeda Rios was tied to a bank robbery. Garcia Pascuala said that Ajeda Rios was tried in a federal courtroom in Puerto Rico and unanimously absolved by a jury. Garcia Pascuala, I butchered that name, sorry, further explained how bullet shell evidence from 2005 attack showed that the FBI agents fired 100 shots into Ajeda Rios' home. Ajeda Rios fired 10 shots back. After he was badly wounded, the FBI wouldn't allow anyone in or out the house for 12 to 15 hours as he bled to death. This brought an end to the long-time assault by the FBI on Rios, but they didn't end their attack on the movement. The FBI had previously pushed for preventative detention of Alberto Ajeda Rios and other political activists by denying them bail. Officials had jailed Ajeda Rios for 6 years before a jury acquitted him of FBI charges. Within months of Ajeda Rios' death, the FBI raided 5 independence organizers' homes, seized files, and arrested several organizers and their family members. I hope you guys enjoyed that chapter. It's your favorite black guy from Nebraska. Yes, it's Black People in Nebraska. I'm out.